to TTH TV, Twice Health YouTube. We keep changing it up, but it's the same
Twice
thing.
Health YouTube channel, TTH TV.
Whatever. So today we are going to have a little chat, just in case we haven't talked about it enough already, about the challenge that we took on last week, which was the Towpath challenge. And I think there's still a little bit of confusion around one, exactly what it was,
where we went,
why we did it. And to be honest, I'm not sure we really knew the why answer until we'd done it.
Yeah, I guess we started to learn as the run went along, especially as we heard everyone else's stories, and
yeah,
it was really
exactly
empowering.
It was in all honesty, it was probably a bit of a sort of on the cuff sign up
from Hannah.
Shocker. So yeah, we just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an insight into what it was. So the kind of basic details.
Yeah,
we ran from
the Queen Elizabeth Park, which is the Olympic Park in Stratford, London, and then we followed the towpath all the way up to the NEC in London, bar like the last 4 kilometres, because that is main road. So we got as close to the NEC as possible while remaining on the towpath.
Yeah, so we stuck on the slightly muddy, slightly slippery towpath for 154 miles, which was about 250 kilometres. We covered this across 5 days. On average, we were running between about 6 and 7 hours a day.
Yeah, about 30 miles a day on average. About
30 miles a day on average. We had the sort of first few days were a little bit longer than the last few, which was great. And the reason we did this was to launch the National Running Show. It was the first year that it launched. It took place at the NEC in Birmingham, and it was basically a massive expo getting you ready for the running/race season. There wasn't really an expo in its place before.
No.
It was London Marathon, which meant people were picking up kind of new gadgets, new kit, new tips moments before stepping up to the start line of probably the biggest race of the year.
Not a good idea. So this brought that time back a little bit. So it means that everyone can go and speak to the brands that mean a lot to them, or find some new brands and some new products maybe they've been looking into, or maybe it's their first marathon, so they're quite lost in that area. So it means you can go and actually meet these people face to face, try on a product similar to buy online, which is amazing, actually being able to see it in the flesh, and then train with it in the lead up to the London Marathon, which will make a world of difference to your run.
Or whatever marathon it might be. It also gives you the opportunity to listen to a load of incredible speakers, many of them which we ran with for the full 5 days.
We didn't really leave the speaking area.
No,
as soon as Kelly Holmes got there, we sat at the front and then stayed there.
And it was incredible. It's not just lectures on like how you should run, why you should run, like kit. It's stories, it's inspiration, it's motivation. A lot of these people have been through incredible journeys to get to where they are today. A lot of them have actually used running as a form of recovery. And it's really incredible to see something that we kind of take for granted and something that we enjoy so much be used as such a kind of like a way in developing mental, not only physical strength, but mental strength as well. Yeah. So that was a big takeaway from us.
Actually, should we run through all the runners that we ran with?
Yes.
Give everyone an insight. Should we go from the front?
From the front, yeah.
So we had Jamie Ramsey up front. He was a navigator. I mean, I had to give up my navigating job, thank God, because I don't think we got us that far. Actually, we just had to follow water.
Yeah, although we did nearly get lost 2 times. So for those of you that don't know, we met Jamie in Pret. Jamie was taking up literally the whole kind of computer cubicle, charging cubicle. So I asked him if he'd kindly mind moving his stuff, which looked like 2 massive body bags. To which he responded he was sorry and that he was about to travel across Morocco with some camels. Mongolia. Oh God.
Mongolia.
Begins with M.
There are camels in Morocco. Is that a different kind of camel?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, so we're going to Mongolia to run across Mongolia with these camels. Now we're usually the ones with the cool stories, so as you can imagine, this didn't.
We're like, what?
This didn't go down too well in our book. So obviously we had to question him, which then led to 4 hours of conversation. To which Jamie got a Fitbit delivered to Pret for his adventure, and we got 5.5 marathons
to Birmingham.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah. So James, sorry, his main run, I'd say, is he ran from the Americas. So he ran from why are we not remembering words today? Canada to Argentina, I think it was.
Something like that. Yeah. It was like 17,000 miles. Something incredible like that, and he did that solo, unsupported. So definitely one to learn from.
Yeah, we'll tag everyone below as well. Yeah. Next up was Raoul.
Shortly behind him, these guys developed a little bit of a bromance. They were difficult to get unstuck, but Raoul is an incredible guy, founded a marketing agency and sales kind of development agency, I think that's right, Raoul, correct us if we're wrong, and was trying to raise money for a friend of his Fina.
Yeah, who's got late stage Lyme disease, so it basically means that she's bedbound.
Yeah.
So they're well on their way to raising over £30,000.
I think they've hit it. I think she's going to America to have the treatment. She's definitely got enough to have 8 weeks of treatment. They're pushing for 12 weeks. We're going to pop the fundraising link below. So if you can give anything or even just share it, please do, and take some time to read the incredible story, because it really was amazing.
Yeah.
To hear Al talking about it and for us to be able to contribute to it in some way.
Massively. Next up we have Luke.
Luke,
I can't pronounce your surname. Luke Tabushki.
Luke is
the helicopter hat man.
Yeah, and can only be described as an ultra athlete.
Oh.
Like, past the point of just ultra running, just
saviour of Twice the Health on day 1, 2, 3, 4,
absolute
5.
saviour. He's a what's it called, like a mind coach. He's a coach. An ultra sort of athlete coach, but also works a lot with kind of your thought processes and how you think when you're running, and motivation. And he was an incredible help to us.
Hopefully we'll get him on here soon. Luke, this is an invite to talk through some of his tricks of the trade. He's also got an incredible documentary about his ultra triathlon, so we'll pop the link to that as well, and definitely make sure you give it a watch. Next up was kind of us.
Next up was us, yeah.
We knew what day it was.
Yeah. And you know what about us, so we don't need to go there.
Well, you're already here.
Yeah.
Who wasn't kind of
Alex?
Alex, yeah. What is Alex's surname?
Oh God.
Alex, I'm really sorry. I only
Let's go with Barefoot. Alex Barefoot. Alex Sandals. Barefoot Alex. So Alex ran from one end of Europe to the other in a pair of sandals. He also did Land's End to John O'Groats.
Well, no, he was Land's End to John O'Groats was barefoot. Actually, he did it the other way around. He did John O'Groats to Land's End, and then he did north to south of Europe. Main, like 80% barefoot, and the 20% remaining was in minimal footwear, aka running sandals.
If you haven't seen these, you need to see them. Yeah. They are quite something.
Yeah.
They're almost kind of self-designed.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know how he does it. He did break his toe on the last day.
Oh, his little toe.
Bless him. But
he kicked a metal mooring on the towpath. Oh.
But Alex is an incredible, like, spirit vibe. You know, he's always happy. So many times when I needed some like motivation, he'd sing Beyonce and suddenly everything would be okay.
He's a Beyonce lover.
He's also an absolute powerhouse. He just seems to never stop. He can just keep going and going and going.
His walk is also rapid.
So
if you're like, oh, let's just have a walk and eat a sandwich, he's faster than I can run.
You have to jog along next to him, but he was amazing, and we're really excited to hopefully plan some adventures with him later on this year. So also Elise, yeah. Elise is another incredible human being. She ran
a lap of the British Isles.
As you do. By herself.
Even though she has an extreme fear of cows. There are a lot of cows on the coast. So.
But she did it, and she absolutely smashed it. She's the most bubbly, kind of infectious, hilarious, by the way.
Yeah.
Dry sense of humour on point. We love that.
Also has an appetite to rival ours.
Yeah.
She's a great Nando's goer.
Incredible, yeah. I mean, on the last day, got to give her credit for that one. That was real good. But also another incredible human being who we hope to do something with again this year. Not a lap of the UK.
Yeah, maybe somewhere like the Isle of Man.
Yeah, smaller, think smaller. Ben?
Yes, Ben. I cannot believe we had not heard of this man before we started this challenge. So he is the 401 challenge. So that he did 401 marathons in 401 days. I just
don't even know where to start with that. And also, he broke his back.
Oh yeah,
midway through, so he had to
double up
on some days. He's also getting married this year on my birthday, and we love Carl. Shout out to Carl. And anyway, Ben is just totally inspirational. His story is incredible. If you haven't heard it, please do listen. He's got a book coming out later this year, and we cannot recommend it highly enough. He's just an absolute gem,
indeed.
Mike.
Yes. Raccoon Man!
The Raccoon!
And the second reason why we ended up on this.
And the crazy adventure behind the
National Running Show, yeah.
So unfortunately, Mike, after completing an incredible 100-miler earlier this year, go Mike, had to drop out on day 3 very reluctantly.
Due to a cankle.
Due to a cankle the size of his head. But we shared sandwiches. We shared a lot of limps, a lot of jokes. He has got the most incredible sense of humour ever.
Yeah.
and he also was the top cheerleader for the last 2 days. Cannot thank him enough for getting us involved in this because it was an incredible experience.
Yeah, literally amazing. Nikki. Yes, another crazy consecutive marathon runner. So she now holds the world record for women for consecutive marathons, which is 63 days.
All over the UK.
Indeed.
Her next challenge we also know, and it's epic, so make sure you follow her on social media. Her tags are below, so you can keep an eye on that. She really again, like her character. So she was coming off, she did her marathons just before Christmas. So she was massively fresh off recovering, the back of 63 marathons,
and was not running a lot. And she just was like, yeah, you know what? I can wing 5 marathons in 5 days. Yeah. She was amazing, literally amazing.
Such good support, and also an incredible physio.
Oh my god! Day 3, when I had a sense of humour failure over my foot and knee, and I had to drop out early, and she came into the pub and literally immediately gave me a foot rub, which I've never been so mortified in my life. I was like, you've just done the full 50k, I've done 40, you're now giving me a foot rub.
I'm sorry! But she was amazing, and yeah, definitely watch out for her next challenge. And I think we've also got to give a massive shout out to Charlotte and Janine. Charlotte also ran 2 half marathons whilst we were there, and is thinking about doing a marathon this year. We're gonna get you there. And she was just incredible and constantly gave incredible hugs and support and rock tape.
Just anything you needed. No. Like, do you possibly? And already
she had yeah. And also her mum Janine, who was just an absolute lifesaver, driving us from place to place, always on hand at the pub to get water, chips, a motivational quote, again a hug. She was just incredible, and hopefully we can continue to fuel you with coffee forever to say thank you, because we know that you cannot say no to a latte macchiato.
Unless Hannah pours it all over the carpet in the NEC.
So that was our incredible team. As I said, all of their links will be below. Now obviously they made up a huge reason of why we did this, and maybe we didn't realise that before we started, but they really were just the most incredible support network, inspiration, motivation, sense of humour when we lost ours.
Found out on the way, that I don't want to ruin anyone's story, so go to their pages and find them out for yourselves. But just when you felt like you're having a bit of a hard time, or your legs hurt, whatever, you think back to what so many people have been through, or what they were raising money for, and that really was like, you know what? I'm doing quite well.
A reality check. It really was a reality check. And also just to spend time, honestly, as a group, we became a little family, and, you know, when legs were stiff and appetites were sky high, things were starting to get a bit angry in Nando's, first time in Northampton, sorry guys. We all stuck together and we all really supported each other, and we learnt so much of these guys, and we're really hoping to bring sort of each of them individually to your screen, so that you too can learn a little bit more of them and kind of feed off their incredible good vibes and passion and infectious personalities. Now on to kind of the more serious bit, which is how we did it and then how our bodies dealt with it. Now we are for no kind of second, makes no sense, but not for 1 minute suggesting that taking on 5.5 marathons in 5 days is a normal thing to do. It's most definitely not.
Thing to do.
Or a particularly sensible thing to do. I remember at one point saying to Luke on the 4th day, which was the day before the end, saying, I really want to be careful because I think I'm doing some damage now, because I had a little bit of pain in my shin. And he said, well, of course you're doing damage. Just run 4 marathons, what do you expect? And that is 100% true. And although we don't suggest anyone goes out to cause damage, events like these are going to have an impact on the body. You are going to come away
to test you.
You are going to come away with niggles, you are going to come away with sores, be it a 5k, 10k marathon, whatever it might be. If it's something you haven't done before, it's going to test and challenge the body, so it is going to have an impact. We are very lucky in that we are both very strong runners. That sounded very big-headed, but we're very strong runners. And we also have an incredible coach who works with us 3, sometimes 4 times a week to build a strong base, a stable, strong body that can carry us through anything so far. Fingers crossed. And he's very aware and very in tune with what we're doing, so he's constantly programming to adapt our bodies for that. Which is why we have both come out of running 5.5 marathons in 5 days.
Just tiny niggles.
With tiny niggles, and we're incredibly lucky that we have that support from him, and we have that both physical and mental strength within our bodies to be able to take something on like this. The other thing is that we love to run.
Yeah.
and despite, you know, joking about how tough it was going to be, we loved it. It was incredible, one, to see what our bodies can do, how strong we are mentally. We've said a few times, I think there was one point on the second day when we'd been very cold walking to the car, and we got back in the car, and I doubted for a second, maybe about a minute, as to whether we could run another 3, but that was the only point when I really ever questioned my body or my ability to do it. The other thing is, obviously, we run together all the time, so we know each other and we know when one's struggling. We also know our bodies, so we know when to stop. And yes, of course, I'm sure, like, if we were trying to completely 100% cotton wool ourselves, we probably could have stopped earlier in the week. But we know our bodies, we know when it felt good, we know when it felt really bad, and we know when it was okay to push on.
Massively. I think just the enjoyment as well, just going back to that, because that was on day 3, when at the halfway point I probably should have stopped, but because I love it. Like, it was an amazing invention. Because there was a bit of a gap either side of us, I knew if I stopped, that most likely meant that you had to stop, and because it is such a passion for us, and I was enjoying all it apart from my knee, that it's hard to make that decision. So we went on for another like 15k, and I eventually just turned to you, I was like, this is not a good idea now, and it sucks to have to make that decision, but I'm really glad that I did make it, and luckily they managed to give you a lift back to some slower runners so then she could complete her run for the day, because that was also the main reason that was stopping me, because I didn't want to stop your adventure, because it was such an incredible day.
But like I've said, it's a big, brave decision to make that choice. I mean, yes, it was a very minute 9k in the grand scheme of 250, which really, you know, it doesn't even matter, and it was definitely the right decision to make. And it was definitely one that obviously I supported Em on and encouraged her to make, because I knew that she was making the right decision, and I knew that it wasn't worth it.
The next 2 days, I think if I had pushed on for that night, I think that would have been me out for the rest of the run, and not finishing one day. I could just about get over. But not finishing the whole thing would have like broken me a little bit.
Plenty more races to come, and it was definitely the right decision. But it just came down to us kind of knowing our bodies and knowing when to say stop. Because the other interesting thing we found is actually throughout the whole process, I didn't feel tired, I didn't feel weak in my running. It was just niggles from the impact, from you
just repetitiveness, really, because actually we're quite lucky. We've both said if that had been on road, we probably actually would have said no, because I think we know front up that our bodies couldn't deal with road marathons for that repetition. It was a godsend that it was on mud, but obviously the sliding as well, that's what we're really fatigued, like the top of your glutes, because you're continuously having to pull your foot back in instead of it being like a normal running stride. So I feel like that's what maybe got to us the most.
Yeah, and you adopt a kind of weird shuffle. You're not striding out because you're tired.
Day 1 we did. We strode on day 1.
And also a couple of moments on like day 3, day 4 with Damien.
Yeah.
I feel like we got some good striding there, but...
Oh, we both fell over as well.
Yeah. But you adopt this weird shuffle, which your body isn't used to, and so obviously you're then working kind of muscles you're not really used to working, and that's when it kind of all kicks in. But in terms of how we felt, like aerobically and with running, we felt great, and I think that's a really important takeaway for us, because I'm sure there will be another one, not yet, but at some point. So we kind of know our weaknesses now, and we can go away and learn from those.
We also learned a huge amount about recovery as well, because so often we know we've got an easy like week, 2 weeks that we can recover as much as we want to. We come back quite often when we've been traveling, so we've been sightseeing, so we've been walking a little bit, but we know that we don't have to run. If we wanted to, we could put our feet up, let all that swelling drain out of our legs. But for this, it was, you went to bed, you ate as much as you could before going to bed, as much water as you could, you tried to sleep as well as you could and rest up all the injuries or whatever you needed to, and then get back out there the next day. And that was a huge learning curve for us, and it was mentally and physically, and actually having to look at like, if something was being a teeny bit problematic, you needed to assess that right there and then, because if that you were like, man, I'm just gonna get into bed instead of like rolling out my feet, etc., that was gonna escalate.
And it was also incredible to see how bodies dealt with that. Like suddenly they just became accustomed to running a marathon the next day, and that was okay, and it just became the thing that you had to do. So you did. And there was no real question about it. And the other thing is, yeah, so recovery, we definitely learned a lot about recovery, and also the fuel we were putting in our bodies. We obviously try and test all of our foods, and we stuck with what we knew, and it paid off. And that was great.
Actually, just a quick bit, you probably all know our in-race nutrition by now. But yeah, I feel like we've nailed it now. Yeah. So we've gone for Warburton thins, the wholemeal ones, with peanut butter and honey, or peanut butter and jam, or something. We
actually
peanut
did
butter
try, the Nutriva chocolate spread.
Yeah.
We'll link it below.
Yeah.
But it was amazing, either with peanut butter or jam. And then we also tried the Nairn's chocolate oat biscuits this time, which were amazing.
Really
Bounce balls, one balls, and what else did we have? We had something savoury.
Oh, and banana.
And some flapjack.
Oh yeah, which Hannah actually made.
Yeah, I did. I'll put the recipe somewhere soon. So yeah, so we learnt a lot as well in that area, and I think kind of the final thing to cover is where we go from here. As you can probably imagine, we are both desperate to get back out on the road or trails. In fact, just yesterday we decided,
train in general.
Yeah, yesterday we decided that we need a little holiday to go and run in some mountains or hills somewhere. Because that's what we love doing. And so we are desperate to get back out on those roads. We are obviously going to make sure that we don't straight away. Even though the bodies might feel fine, going straight back into running is not a good idea, especially if we want to complete London Marathon and get up to all the adventures we've got planned this year.
We're going to focus a bit on tempo again, because this was getting to the end. No worry about not that we're worried about speed anyway, but like just to get back in that.
But it's definitely inspired us to push our distances a little bit more.
Just ourselves in general as well.
And ourselves, yeah, exactly, and see what we can do.
Who knew we could run to Birmingham?
We did it! So yeah, so that's a little bit about Towpath Challenge. We hope it gave you a better insight into exactly what we did, why we did, and who we ran with. If you have any questions,
pop them down below.
Give us a thumbs up.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you know every time we post a video.